radio show. And here comes Ryan walking in the studio right on time with his Nespresso. Man, is that props to Nespresso? Is that what that is?
It is. I guess that's why it's there for free, huh?
It really is Nespresso. I was totally joking.
It is. This stuff's awesome.
So, guys, welcome to the show. Your host, Frank Coto, owner of Lincoln Lending Group and 813mortgage.com, our newest website. If you want a free pre-approval, go to 813mortgage.com. You'll see my ugly mug on there, and I won't charge you fees to look at me. So go do the application, and you're good to go. Ryan Pelky, owner of TampaBay Plumbers and 813 Plumber, where I got my whole idea with the 813 mortgage thing. You'll call them for all your dirty plumbing jobs. Sound
Just
good?
don't expect us to get out there for a week.
A little busy these days, are you?
Yeah, I mean I think a lot of everyone in construction is pretty busy right now. I mean, we've hired so many really good people this year, and we're still
looking for more.
Still looking for more. Still slammed up. Still can't. Unfortunately, we just can't handle the volume right now. There's just too much work.
Sounds like a good problem.
It's a good problem, but it also leads to other problems, which I'll bring up later on in the program.
Oh,
but
boy.
Yeah.
Speaking of reputable construction people, how about Doug Ford, owner of Suncoast Roofing Solutions? I sound like an ad guy today.
Seriously, what's going on with that?
888-888-ROOF. Call them now. Free roofs for everyone. How we doing?
Good. We're pretty much the same position as Ryan. I mean, it's
you were booked up till February last week, weren't you?
Yeah, we have jobs until almost March now. But yeah, the thing is, like our repair division, they'll tell people, look, it's like a week or two before we can even come look at it.
Now,
and
Doug,
it's still going on right now.
What if they call you and say they heard you on the radio? You're going to hook them up, right? You're going to get out there.
We try to hook up everybody, but
That's right.
That's the funny thing. People have the expectation you can just boop, 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 pop out other plumbers, And
Is that what it sounds like when a plumber comes out of the womb?
I wish we could do that, but it just doesn't work out. So when you're at 100% capacity, like legitimate 100% capacity, it's hard to do anything else. So
tell you what, last 2 Christmases ago, I had a bunch of family over, and my septic was at 100% capacity.
Well, there was a summit. I think it was yesterday in downtown Tampa. They were talking about with Vinnick and everything, all the expansion going on, and one of the biggest issues they're having right now is what we've been talking about is there's just not enough people. The lack of workforce.
Yeah.
And the rising cost of construction, and it's kind of what's prohibiting them from breaking ground and starting what they're doing over in that area.
Also, it's slowing down the construction of the whole revamp of Channelside as well,
and it's causing prices to go up.
Yeah, because prices have increased drastically, and we're really low in workforce.
Wow.
So it's a big problem, and that's
I never thought about it. Well, Rick Baker was saying the same thing. That's why that drive, which we were in such support of, was for the bringing in new trade jobs instead of pushing people off to the 4-year colleges.
Yeah.
My gosh, look at all the work we have right now.
Instead of finishing with $50,000 in debt or $75,000 in debt on the low side, you finish with you finish your 4 years with an actual trade that you can go anywhere in the world with, and if as long as you're a go-getter, you're gonna have work.
Right? Am I wrong? Some of your plumbers make 6 figures. Right? I mean,
actually, I have one plumber that makes over $200,000 a year.
You got to be kidding me!
No, I swear he's made that much for the last 5 or 6 years.
See, that's amazing. It's insane. We push these kids into the 4-year degrees. They come out with all kinds of student debt, and then they get entry-level business positions. They might be making something in the 30s, low 40s, right?
Yeah.
It's not for everybody.
The vast majority of our guys earn around between 75 and 100.
That's still way higher than the median income.
But we do have some exceptional earners that almost run a business inside of my business. We offer our top guys, very top senior guys that that are very experienced, the ability to have their own crew, so they can basically earn a portion of the revenue that they generate.
Oh, okay.
And so they'll have customers calling them directly sometimes.
Is that what an owner-operator is?
You don't have to be an owner-operator to do that, but the guy that I'm talking about that does earn that much money, he is an owner-operator.
So he has his own license and everything?
No, he's a W-2 employee, but he owns his own truck. It's an F550 4-door, so he can put a crew of people inside of there.
Nice.
It's a big box truck. And
nice.
He also has another truck that he uses, too. So he can be literally 2 places at one time, sometimes 3 places at one time.
Nice. So he's tripling up on the income.
And that's how he does it.
great.
But he earns what someone would make if they started their own business and were successful. And he does that here.
That's more than your average, business owner. I was at the Salitas house the other day working on something for somebody doing some down payment assistance stuff, and I was surprised. I think they were saying that the median income in the Tampa Bay area is like $33,000, something like that.
Maybe in South Tampa.
Yeah, well, I thought it was a little high, honestly. I mean, but I don't know. What do you think, Doug? I mean, it seems like kind of a middle of the road. I mean,
I really don't know how people can live off $33,000 a year.
Well, especially if you have like a family of 4 or something.
I don't really think you can. I mean, you think about it, like just to get an apartment in the area where we live, if you had 4.
Oh gosh!
So, can you imagine? I mean, you're
talking $2,000 a month.
$2,000 a month. So what's that? $24,000 a year.
There's your whole income.
Yeah, you can't spend 100% of your income just on housing.
Correct.
Imagine if you have childcare.
Was it got to be like 40%? Is what
I would say that's very, very high.
But I mean, like you're in the mortgage, so if you have 40%, 45%, and that's for real estate.
That's to buy a house. Your debt ratio has to be 45%. So if you guys don't know what that means, basically, if you make, nobody does this, but if you make $1,000 a month, your total mortgage expense with your other credit cards, car payments, anything on your credit has to be under 45% or $450. So likewise, you make $10,000 a month, your total expenses can't be more than $4,500.
But what's a healthy amount for housing? Just housing.
Yeah, healthy amount meaning what?
So like, let's say of a
30%?
percentage of your net income.
25, 30%.
So the rule of thumb on what would be like a government manual underwriting, meaning you don't quite meet the guidelines, is 31.43. So that means is your house payment with tax and insurance and mortgage insurance has to be 31% or less of your income. And when you add the other debts in, you get to go to 43%. FHA will allow you to go usually to 45.55, sometimes 45.58. Which means you can have 45% with your housing and go up to above 50.
So the government's taking more risk than...
Yeah, they are taking more risk, but the way they can do that is through the mandatory mortgage insurance, though, because these third-party insurance companies have to put PMI, private mortgage insurance, on your loan, and what that does is insure the government / the lender, because it's all subsidized, but has to insure them. That if the loan defaults, they get paid back.
Is it 100% that they get paid back, or is it a fractional amount? Like, is there
80%, I believe, or something like that? I think they guaranteed 80%, but they could get paid back 100% of the note, depending on the terms.
So those private insurance companies, that's all that is private insurance, like AIG and stuff like that?
Yeah, MGIC, Radian, those are two that come off the top of my head. AIG used to be one. Yeah.
Are they solvent enough to actually cover another major economic,
the old joke is these insurance companies get hurt when disasters happen. I mean, have you ever met an insurance company that loses money? I mean, the vast majority of them.
They get bailed out. They'll.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Not even getting into that, which that's ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying. That's what's
bailing out an insurance company.
Because PMI is not cheap, right? I mean, you're talking. I mean, I have a conventional loan, but I remember before when I had a FHA loan, it was like $250 a month.
Oh yeah. It's equivalent to between 0.8 and 1.7% of your yearly note. So, for instance, like in a $250,000 mortgage, you may pay around 1% or something like that, depending on the loan to value. So you're paying about $220 to $250 per month in mortgage insurance. So over a year's time, you gave that company $3,000, and you're one of millions of people doing that. So
in that 31 point something percent, is that including your taxes and insurance as well?
Anything associated with the mortgage.
So PMI.
So it's going to be PMI, tax, insurance, principal and interest, which is the mortgage payment, and if there's any association fees like HOA.
So someone making $33,000 a year can get a mortgage, taxes, and everything for $852 a month. What will that buy?
Wow, I've never done it like that, but yeah, you're right. $800 a month will probably.
That's taxes,
$80,000 house maybe. Yeah,
that's sad. I mean, how many homes in Tampa Bay are $80,000?
Nothing. I'll tell you just from talking to people in the community, when I say, okay, what are you looking for? More often than not, I say, okay, you're qualified around 150, and they say, well, I can't get anything for that. If you're going to something for a family of 4, they need $200,000.
So how is the median income here only $33,000? And that just blows my mind.
Well, that's per person. That's not per household as well.
True.
So
So times two.
Seems awfully low.
Times two,
$1,700.
Yeah, and $1,700 is good. $1,700, you can get something in the twos.
Yeah, I'll buy you like $185, $200.
Yeah, you could probably go. Depending on tax and insurance, you might go to $225. And remember, if you have a little down payment, now you're not paying PMI, or you're getting a lower interest rate. things like that. And, you can also get the seller to cover closing costs to help you get to the table. There's a lot of neat things that can be done. But great point, though. The median income doesn't get you a lot. But then again, and don't kill me for saying this, but home ownership isn't a right. It's a privilege.
Yeah,
and
it is.
You have to work to own a home. I mean, our parents and our grandparents busted their butts to be able to buy a house. What's sad is that the rental prices are so expensive right now. To rent is hard.
Do you feel like there's going to be any loss of demand in housing with the fact that the standard deduction is being doubled in the new tax plan?
I don't think so.
Because I think that'll actually make my interest less, than...
It will.
Yeah.
If the standard deduction will be more than I think 75-80% of people's actual deduction, their interest deduction.
So, I mean, there's a lot of people that do go into housing because of the fact that they can write off that interest expense.
So let's take a break here in a second, and let's come back and let's talk about the actual math. We'll do some on the break real quick and look at the actual math of what the interest deduction is and what the standard deduction is, because that's part of the Trump tax plan, the reform plan that did, by the way, pass the Senate, pass the House. Now it has to go to committee. So we'll be back in just a minute. Committee, right? We'll talk about it in a second. You're listening to the Business Happy Hour with Frank, Ryan, and Doug. Stay tuned, and we're going to talk about how the standard deduction may affect you.
Hi, I'm Ryan with TampaBay Plumbers. Thank you for choosing us for all of your plumbing, septic, and water treatment needs. What makes us different at TampaBay Plumbers is that we're a local full-service plumbing contractor that can handle any project, large or small, including cured-in-place pipelining, septic installations, and various water treatment products. You can find us at tampaplumber.net or 24/7 by phone at 813-PLUMBER. Thank you, and we look forward to working with you. This is Ryan with TampaBay Plumbers. At some point, we've all had to have a drain line snaked out. This typically involves running a steel cable through the drain line in an effort to clear a blockage. This often leaves a film of scale or buildup on the inside of the pipe with a hole in the middle. The only way to properly descale a drain line is to perform a hydrojet service. We use equipment that essentially pressure washes the inside of the pipe, leaving your drain lines free and clear. The two symptoms of a sewer backup are foul odors and slow-moving drains. If you are experiencing either of these, contact us at tampaplumber.net or 813-PLUMBER. My name is Ryan, and I'm the production manager for TampaBay Plumbers, your one-stop shop for all of your plumbing and septic needs. We pride ourselves on building the reputation as the best plumbing and septic company in the Tampa Bay area. But don't take it from me. Look us up on Google and you will see that we have a 4.8 star rating with over 100 reviews. We also have multiple awards and recognition from multiple online review sites such as Angie's List, Yelp, and Facebook. We do everything plumbing and septic, from residential to commercial, new construction to service. You can find us at tampaplumber.net or call us at 813-PLUMBER. I'm Ryan with TampaBay Plumbers. As a plumbing and septic company with over 100 years of combined experience, we know how frustrating a sewer backup can be. That is why we pride ourselves on being able to identify the cause of a problem before a backup ever happens. One of the tools we use to identify a problem in the sewer system is a video inspection camera. This camera runs through the drain line and is able to identify and locate any problems in the sewer system on a live feed. We then take that information from the live feed and are able to provide a recommendation on how to best fix the problem, oftentimes without the use of any excavation. If you are experiencing any problems with your sewer system, you can find us at tampaplumber.net or call us at 813-PLUMBER.
Hi, I'm Ryan with Tampa Bay Plumbers, and welcome to our website. So what's different about Tampa Bay Plumbers? Everything is different about us. Our company does literally everything that involves plumbing, water, drainage, sewer, septic. We handle it from A to Z, which is completely different than just about every company in town. If you call a plumber, they don't do septic necessarily. Definitely if you call a septic contractor, they don't do plumbing. In addition to doing a very wide scope of services, we do them extremely well. And the reason why is our process and our people. We have spent many years perfecting our craft, and we've also spent many years finding the best people to operate our system. And we have by far the best plumbers in town. I will put my guys up against any companies, anywhere, anytime, any place. And that's just evidence in the type of quality work that we put out. Go online, look at our reviews on Google, look at our reviews on Angie's List. No one else is as highly rated as us unless they're putting bogus reviews up. But our company takes a lot of pride in what we do on a daily basis, and we hope that you give us a chance. Again, I'm Ryan with TampaBay Plumbers. Thanks a lot for visiting our site.
You have been listening to the Business Happy Hour with Frank Coto, Ryan Pelky, and Doug Ford. Now, back to the show.
Hey, guys, welcome back to the show. We're doing some tough math over here. We're using a plumber, a roofer, and a mortgage guy. They all walked into a bar.
And we all came up with different numbers.
Yeah. And the bartender said, it must be a recession. So anyway, want to illustrate a couple things we were talking about before the break. So on a $250,000 mortgage at 4.25% interest, your principal and interest payment, okay, just the mortgage payment, not taxes, insurance, mortgage insurance, all the other things, would be $1,229 per month. Okay, so what Doug was getting at earlier, you know, if you have the dual income, median income family, $66,000 a year, with tax and insurance, you could definitely afford a $250,000 house if you don't drive a Lamborghini or something like that.
If you don't have a lot
Also,
of
if you have
other
good
debt.
credit.
And good credit is important as well. You got to have the good credit, which can avoid the mortgage insurance. And people don't know this, but good credit actually makes mortgage insurance cheaper.
Yeah.
And your interest rate, right? So over the life of the loan, and this is a lesson for everyone, and Doug and I follow this, and Ryan does as well, is the 15-year mortgage is a big difference. So over the life of the loan on a 30-year mortgage, on those terms I just gave you, 4.25, $250,000, your interest that you pay over the life of the loan, just the interest, is $192,745. So you're almost buying that house twice. When you're done, you're going to have paid for that $250,000 house $442,745. Okay, it's still it's cheap money. It's good long-term money, but you have to see what you're actually going to pay. I mean, you could literally go buy a brand new Bentley.
$6,500 a year in interest you're just giving to the bank.
Right. So Doug did the math. That's the interest you give yearly. So then going back, before I talk about the 15-year, going back to what Ryan was saying about the standard deduction. So if your math is $6,000 something in interest you're going to pay, and your standard deduction goes from $12,000 to $20,000. Well, first of all, $12,000 is already good, but Ryan was saying you have to make a choice. You get your mortgage interest or your standard deduction. 99% of America is going to benefit from the standard deduction. I mean,
just your $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 houses, right?
Even them. I mean, gosh, just take 250 and multiply it by 3. It's still going to be less. You're still only going to be paid maybe $18,000, $20,000 in interest, and your standard deduction is now $25,000. So it's, you know, talking about the tax plan, that seems like a really good part of it. You know, what the standard deduction is going to exceed the mortgage interest. You put all 3 of our primary residences together in this room, and we still don't pay $25,000 in interest. I don't think.
We probably do.
Well, you know, Doug has a $1 billion house.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But no, so
far from it.
But Doug and I were on 15-year mortgages. Actually, I put mine on a 10 recently. I don't know if you knew that, but 10, 15, whatever. Compare the exact same loan, $250,000 on a 15-year mortgage. Your payment would be $1,787, so about $550 more per month. Okay, principal and interest. But here's the kicker: instead of paying $192,000, right? Instead of paying $200,000 in
what,
interest,
60,
71,
70, yeah,
71.
So you save $130,000 in interest.
Now you save a Lamborghini.
Isn't there ways that you can do little things like you can make you can take your payment and split it in half or something and make it twice a month, and then that'll cut your 30-year down to like a 22-year.
So you just did the complicated explanation. It's very simple. You make one full principal and interest payment, add the tax and insurance per year extra.
Year.
Just one. Throw one to principal every year on a 30-year note. You'll pay off usually in 6.7 to 7.1 years earlier. So you bring it down to about a 23-year mortgage.
So when we talked about the break, I have a couple rentals that I had. You know, I lived in one and it turned into a rental, and I was able to refinance it at a really low rate, but I can only do a 30-year.
Right.
So I double my mortgage payment every year on it. And it's like it went from a 30-year to like a 14-year.
Oh yeah, you'll probably pay off in 13 years, something like that. And that's
if you just double your payment, it makes it much cheaper.
Right. So guys, you don't have to refinance if you're in a real good position or you have a great rate already, something in the 3s, and you don't want to pay the money to refinance. Which, by the way, refis don't cost you anything out of pocket. But if you didn't want to, do what Doug's doing, double the mortgage payment if you can afford it, or just type in an amortization calculator online and see what the 15-year payment is based on what your existing balance, based on your interest rate, and make that payment. What Doug's doing is he's paying more. You're probably really putting that more like in a 10-year term.
Yeah, it's like, I think it was like 14 or 12 years is what I broke it down to.
Yeah, which, I mean, and when you do that, the mortgage interest savings are phenomenal. Now, the other thing is you're getting two things. You're getting the new standard deduction, and Doug's reducing his mortgage interest.
Right.
So, I mean, you're a winner all around. And I recommend 15 years to anyone who can afford them. And I'll tell you, people's biggest complaint is, well, I can't, I don't want to put all that extra money out. What if things get bad? What if I get tight on money? Well, I think people will agree that the one thing you don't pay late when things get tough is your mortgage, right? But the first thing people stop doing is saving. It's always the first thing to go. You stop saving. Well, if you put yourself on a short-term mortgage and you're, have half a brain and you're diligent, you're going to keep paying that mortgage payment, which means essentially what are you doing? Saving. You're saving money. You're accelerating you're delaying gratification. So obviously that money that you at year 15 in 1 month, that money you start saving then. You don't save in the beginning, you start saving later on in life when it matters. Or reinvest it.
So what's the longest term loan they have here now? In
30-year. It was at 40. There was even 50-year mortgages during the crazy times and all that. I don't know if anybody's come back out with a 40.
Japan, I think, has like 70, 80-year loans. Don't they?
It's because they live to like 140.
Oh my gosh!
I think
really?
It's because of how expensive property is there. I mean, you think of it, the population is insane in Japan.
And they also have no gun violence over there, by the way. I read an article the other day. I was talking about gun violence in Japan, and they allow guns in Japan, but they go through this super strict, classes and shooting. You have to be a really good shot, and you have to have all these different classes and certifications. And
that's interesting.
But they have no gun violence there. They had one person. They had one officer that shot one person. That's it.
Wait, Doug. Do you think it's because they have Chinese stars and bolos and
no? I think it's because
it's like ninjas.
It's because they make it. It's a lot more stricter for people to buy guns. They still allow guns, but it's a lot harder to get them.
That's a really good point. So it's harder to get them. So it's a tougher thing, and plus the population density is insane. I mean, you think you'd have more gun violence.
That's why they have to have 80-year loans, because no one can afford a house in 20 years or 15 years.
Well, when you go to that kind of term, you're basically leasing the house. That's like the old 99-year lease trick. Yeah. I'm not going to sell it to you, but I'll give you a 99-year lease.
Literally, what's the population in Japan? I mean, I know the landmass is about the size of California. I'm pretty sure, and it's
if that.
And it's
I don't think it's that big.
Hundreds of millions, isn't it?
I don't know. Well, Gary's going to do a fact check for us real quick. We'll get you the population.
127.
Wow.
And it is. Compare the landmass to California real quick, brother.
We're going to do a landmass analysis. Hey, so when we
that's why golf is so expensive in Japan. And the golf courses are all pristine, but it's like, if you want to play golf, it's like $500, $1,000 for golf.
It costs them $1 billion.
That's why they fly over here.
Yeah. Hey, guys, we got to take a quick break. You're listening to the Business Happy Hour on 970. We'll be back in just a minute. We're going to talk more about tax reform and maybe some about GE stock. So stay tuned. We'll be back in just a minute.
Hi, I'm Ryan with TampaBay Plumbers. Thank you for choosing us for all of your plumbing, septic, and water treatment needs. What makes us different at TampaBay Plumbers is that we're a local full-service plumbing contractor that can handle any project, large or small, including cured-in-place pipelining, septic installations, and various water treatment products. You can find us at tampaplumber.net or 24/7 by phone at 813-PLUMBER. Thank you, and we look forward to working with you. This is Ryan with TampaBay Plumbers. At some point, we've all had to have a drain line snaked out. This typically involves running a steel cable through the drain line in an effort to clear a blockage. This often leaves a film of scale or buildup on the inside of the pipe with a hole in the middle. The only way to properly descale a drain line is to perform a hydrojet service. We use equipment that essentially pressure washes the inside of the pipe, leaving your drain lines free and clear. The two symptoms of a sewer backup are foul odors and slow-moving drains. If you are experiencing either of these, contact us at tampaplumber.net or 813-PLUMBER. My name is Ryan, and I'm the production manager for TampaBay Plumbers, your one-stop shop for all of your plumbing and septic needs. We pride ourselves on building the reputation as the best plumbing and septic company in the Tampa Bay area. But don't take it from me. Look us up on Google and you will see that we have a 4.8 star rating with over 100 reviews. We also have multiple awards and recognition from multiple online review sites such as Angie's List, Yelp, and Facebook. We do everything plumbing and septic, from residential to commercial, new construction to service. You can find us at tampaplumber.net or call us at 813-PLUMBER. I'm Ryan with Tampa Bay Plumbers. As a plumbing and septic company with over 100 years of combined experience, we know how frustrating a sewer backup can be. That is why we pride ourselves on being able to identify the cause of a problem before a backup ever happens. One of the tools we use to identify a problem in the sewer system is a video inspection camera. This camera runs through the drain line and is able to identify and locate any problems in the sewer system on a live feed. We then take that information from the live feed and are able to provide a recommendation on how to best fix the problem, oftentimes without the use of any excavation. If you are experiencing any problems with your sewer system, you can find us at tampaplumber.net or call us at 813-PLUMBER.
Hi, I'm Ryan with Tampa Bay Plumbers, and welcome to our website. So what's different about Tampa Bay Plumbers? Everything is different about us. Our company does literally everything that involves plumbing, water, drainage, sewer, septic. We handle it from A to Z, which is completely different than just about every company in town. If you call a plumber, they don't do septic necessarily. Definitely if you call a septic contractor, they don't do plumbing. In addition to doing a very wide scope of services, we do them extremely well. And the reason why is our process and our people. We have spent many years perfecting our craft, and we've also spent many years finding the best people to operate our system. And we have by far the best plumbers in town. I will put my guys up against any companies, anywhere, anytime, any place. And that's just evidence in the type of quality work that we put out. Go online, look at our reviews on Google, look at our reviews on Angie's List. No one else is as highly rated as us unless they're putting bogus reviews up. But our company takes a lot of pride in what we do on a daily basis, and we hope that you give us a chance. Again, I'm Ryan with Tampa Bay Plumbers. Thanks a lot for visiting our site.
Ryan Pelky and Doug Ford. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back to the show. We really should have our off-air conversations on air. we were getting into all kinds of stuff here. So talking about this whole, okay, we've already given you the lesson. 15 years better than 30 year. Call 813-MORTGAGE or go to 813mortgage.com. There you go. Then you get a roof from Doug, plumbing from Ryan. You're good. Okay, buy it before it's too high. Speaking of buying it before it's too high.
Oh, man. Bitcoin is it's going crazy right now.
So we talk about Bitcoin every single pre-production meeting we have. And every time we get together, I'm not BSing you. It's like up $1,000 more.
I know, $2,000 more.
So 2 weeks ago, it was like it cracked 10 grand, and we're all like, "Oh my God, this ain't cracked 10 grand." What is it at today, Doug?
It's like 12,700 or something stupid.
Guys, this is for one share.
One coin. One coin.
I used to think that Berkshire Hathaway was like,
it's like $130,000 a share.
Oh, it's over two now.
Dude, in 2 weeks, Bitcoin's going to be that. I mean, this is insane.
Look, it's a bubble waiting to happen. I mean, it has to. There's nothing in this world that has ever gone up at that much so quickly that hasn't collapsed.
Okay, so let me be devil's advocate. There's nothing in this world that's like Bitcoin.
But you got to remember, not many people even accept it.
Right. Well,
so
hey,
you own this
Virgin Airlines does now. Did you know that? You can buy your flights on Virgin. You can book your space flight on Virgin. We need to do that, by the way. But so here's the thing. What Doug's saying, it makes perfect mathematical sense. It's insane. It's gone from what, $1,000 to $12,000 in a year. Okay.
And you know, from I was told about it about 7 years ago from my buddy that works at Google, and he was like, "You need to, buy a couple of these." And I just, of course, I'm like, "Whatever."
Yeah, well, I did the same thing,
and I didn't do it. But I mean, it is. He tried to explain to me that everything's mined.
Yeah.
So there's only so much out there, and that's the problem with the reason why the dollar keeps going down, because they can keep printing more.
Right.
But my question is, why isn't gold done the same thing then? There's really only so much gold out there. There's really only so much silver out there.
Right? You can mine gold.
Yeah, and you can mine silver. You can mine all these. So why is precious metals not doing the same thing?
Because I think,
and I can physically hold a piece of gold,
which
Bitcoin,
I love about it.
Bitcoin, I don't know if you can hold it. You can store it on a computer somewhere and hope that it stays there.
I got my phone in my hand. I've got a Bitcoin right here.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It just it scares me when I watch people. They're like, I'm dumping all my investment into Bitcoin. I'm like, have fun.
It's so scary.
Well, gold is a much more stable, safe investment than Bitcoin.
But my point is, gold is the same thing as Bitcoin. So, technically,
no.
Yes, it is.
I see no comparison.
Well, I'm trying to explain to you. There's only so much of it.
Tulips are a lot like Bitcoin. Okay,
here we go. Tulips.
The tulip bubble of the 1600s is exactly what's happening here with Bitcoin. Okay, so there's no intrinsic value in Bitcoin. There's no intrinsic value in tulips. So I guess there is a little bit, but
I mean, but my point is, there's only so much of it.
Okay, look, here's the comparison Doug's making for layman's terms. Doug's saying that there's a finite amount of gold on the planet. There is also mathematically a finite amount of Bitcoin that can ever be mined. It's to the point now where you need a blue gene computer the size of this radio station to mine one Bitcoin, right? However, mathematically, there is a defined number of Bitcoins that can ever be produced. So it comes down to supply and demand. Just like real estate goes up because there's a finite amount of it. Okay, like you're talking Japan, real estate's worth billions of dollars because there's only so much there. Well, that's why Bitcoin keeps going up. Mathematically, I look at you, Doug, and I say, you're right. This has got to be a bubble. Something's going on here. It can't continue to do this.
But what's forcing the demand?
That's what I
understand the supply side.
Okay, so the supply, but because now it is becoming recognized. Virgin Galactic, Virgin Atlantic, Richard Branson accepts Bitcoin on all of his transactions.
So did he buy a ton of Bitcoin and say, I'm going to accept this? And
why?
Probably.
Understand though, why would anyone want to accept Bitcoin over other forms of currency, given how up and down it is, how unstable it is? It seems like you'd be in a bad position as a manufacturer of any kind of goods.
They're probably monetizing it right away. You take the Bitcoin and you turn it into cash. Boom. Right? Or maybe,
but then where does that Bitcoin go?
Well, it goes back into the market.
How can you turn it into cash if it's technically not? The government doesn't.
It's the same thing as money. You go on your credit card and you spend
money.
But
the United States doesn't accept Bitcoin for taxes.
Well, okay, great point. But I think that's why the price is going up, because I think everybody believes that the digital currency.
I think we need to get a Bitcoin
stay.
expert on the show and talk about it.
You know who knows a lot about it? Gary. Then the PC. What is it? PC doctor.
PC guys. Yes.
PC guys.
We should have him on here and talk about it.
Let's do that. Let's see if we can get him on next week. And let's talk about.
I think that's
Bitcoin.
a great idea.
He knows a lot about
the blockchain currencies are going crazy. I mean,
so
I have a friend that's made a lot of money on them the last few months.
Blockchain, Google blockchain. I don't have time to go in exactly what it is, but I will tell you that the first international real estate transaction in history just occurred with digital currency using an Ethereum blockchain. Okay, so the idea to that is that right now there is no easy way to buy and sell real estate internationally. You have two different countries, two different monetary systems, two different laws. Attorneys, all these people involved. This transaction literally occurred. Like, Doug has a house in Spain, and I'm over here in Florida. I say, you know what? I want to buy your house in Spain. Doug says, okay, I'll have my attorney draw up a deed. Go ahead and send me XYZ in Bitcoin or Ethereum. And I literally go to my computer, type a couple things in, boom, now I own his house. That's simple. So the digital currency is going to take governments out of the equation.
And so I know that, China for the longest time has been trying to get off the gold, trying to get off of the dollar. They've been pushing to try to get their own currency or whatever, some international currency that, because obviously they realize that we can let's rack up debt and print more money. It's just, it's not fair for the rest of the world because we're allowed to do that. So
it's called currency manipulation. And
correct.
That's what digital currencies will avoid.
But I mean, nobody, I guess it's slowly being accepted by certain people, but I don't know. One coin, $12,000 just doesn't.
Gary, do us a favor. Research the research companies that accept Bitcoin. Let's see if we can pull a list of what kind of companies are accepting it right now. And I think that's going to answer your question, Ryan, of why is it going up in value, which goes back to, is it going away? If it's not going away, why would the stock price go down? I know what you're saying, Doug, and I have to agree, but look at the other side too. Yeah, every digital currency is going up.
I mean, if the supply is finite like that, then the demand is the only thing that is going to have a factor on price. So I guess I don't see it going down. I mean, it's in its infancy still.
Now Doug brought up in the break, which is really interesting. If we went back on the gold standard, then it could destroy digital currencies because that you cannot manipulate if everything's backed by gold.
Or backed by something. I mean, it doesn't have to be gold. It can be any precious metal.
We're going to back our currency by Bitcoin. You hear that, Donald? What do we got, Gary?
WordPress, Overstock, Subway, Microsoft, Reddit.
Can you guys hear this? Microsoft, Reddit, Overstock, Subway?
Virgin Galactic, OkCupid, Namecheap, Cheap Air, Expedia, Gift, Newegg, Wikipedia, Stem, Alza.
So I see a trend here. There's a lot of
internet and tech companies.
But these are the companies driving the world.
Pembury Tavern, a pub in London.
Oh, a tavern. Ooh.
Fitzroy,
what do you do? Drop a Bitcoin on the table?
Yeah, but that's another thing. Is like, so it's worth $12,000 for one coin. What if I need $5 out of it?
You can do fractional.
Pizza for Coins, which is Domino's. Whole Foods, Bitcoin Coffee, Grass Hill Alpacas.
Wait, Domino's takes Bitcoin?
Yeah. Jefferson Store.
And so there's your answer. That's why it's
there. It is. That's why it's going up.
Right.
And guys, that list is only going to grow.
Yeah.
Bloomberg.
So that means I can buy stocks with Bitcoin.
GameStop, JCPenney's.
GameStop, I can get the new Mario with Bitcoin.
Dish Network.
JCPenney, I can get a cheap suit.
Yacht Base, the Libertarian Party.
The Libertarian Party. Come on, Donald. Come on.
Speaking of Donald, I think he's just making the announcement on Jerusalem right now.
Yeah, let's divert from Bitcoin for a second, and we got to get that expert
Trump
on here.
Trump recognizes Jerusalem as Israel's capital.
So. Thousands of years ago, there's this war. Okay.
Still going on.
Started from this thing called the Bible. And the Jews have been fighting the Palestinians for eons. And now Donald Trump decides that Jerusalem is the capital according to Israel. It's also the capital according to Palestine. Mm-hmm. I don't know that Palestine is nationally. Is it a recognized state right now? Do they recognize it? Okay, so the argument is, whose is Jerusalem? Because both of their religious beliefs center around Jerusalem. So what the whole thing is, Trump is now going to be the first president in the world, first leader in the world to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel.
Even though this goes back to Gerald Ford's days.
Yeah, explain that. You were saying that at the meeting.
I mean, Gerald Ford campaigned on moving the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem.
Right.
And then shortly after he became president, he changed his mind. And I guess it probably had something to do with how upset a lot of the Arab world would be. And the Trump transition team immediately started working on peace talks with the Middle East, and apparently they feel like this could actually help. I mean, based on all the news reports and stuff you see, it doesn't seem that way, but
it's gonna help make one side happy.
A lot of fake news going on for sure. Yeah. So I don't really know what to make of this yet.
Well, I know that the one thing about Donald Trump, love him or hate him, is if the man says he's going to do something, he does it.
Yeah,
and that's the difference in him and every other president.
He just scratches off. I mean, he's just scratching them off the list,
checking it twice.
Yeah,
and some think he's naughty, some think he's nice. Hey, but I mean, it's true. It's historic what's happening right now. We'll find out what it does. I mean, obviously, if you're the Palestinians, you are not going to be happy with this. But maybe he's got a concession.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe he's got something up his sleeve. I'll tell you one thing about that guy. He usually doesn't do things without thinking it through, except for Twitter. I'll say it before Doug does, except for Twitter. I do not like Donald Trump on Twitter.
Oh, gosh. How hasn't he gotten it taken away? Because wasn't he, and it's in the bylaws of Twitter, you can't, threaten somebody.
Does he threaten someone?
Didn't he threaten Kim Jong-un, whatever his name is, over in South Korea, North Korea, whatever?
It doesn't count. The rules.
Why does that not count?
The rules specifically exclude Kim Jong-un.
Because he's a little man. He's a little.
But I mean, he did threaten him, did he not? On Twitter.
I think it was more like if this, then this.
Yeah.
But technically, he should have gotten his account deactivated.
I think the last thing Twitter wants to do is remove his feed. Yeah, that's like the feed that everyone follows.
It is the feed. That's the one. So anyway, we're talking all this crazy stuff. Trump's going to do it. We're going to see the fallout. Heck, by the time you're listening Sunday morning, there already might be fallout.
Yeah, and I mean, apparently
Bitcoin might be up to 14,000.
I can't wait. Hey, we should take bets on the show. What's Bitcoin going to be at
next week?
Next Friday.
Good,
all right?
Good question. Good question.
We should just take $100 each, put it in it, and see what happens.
Yeah, and we'll be off the air because we're going to retire. We're not going to talk to you people ever again. So the something stock that I just bought was GE. It looks like a really good buy right now. It's so low. I want to talk about what's happening with these big companies and see how that might affect us. When we get back, we'll finish talking a little bit about tax reform. You're listening to the Business Happy Hour on 970, and don't forget to find us on Facebook.
Hi, I'm Ryan with TampaBay Plumbers. Thank you for choosing us for all of your plumbing, septic, and water treatment needs. What makes us different at TampaBay Plumbers is that we're a local full-service plumbing contractor that can handle any project, large or small, including cured-in-place pipelining, septic installations, and various water treatment products. You can find us at tampaplumber.net or 24/7 by phone at 813-PLUMBER. Thank you, and we look forward to working with you. This is Ryan with TampaBay Plumbers. At some point, we've all had to have a drain line snaked out. This typically involves running a steel cable through the drain line in an effort to clear a blockage. This often leaves a film of scale or buildup on the inside of the pipe with a hole in the middle. The only way to properly descale a drain line is to perform a hydrojet service. We use equipment that essentially pressure washes the inside of the pipe, leaving your drain lines free and clear. The two symptoms of a sewer backup are foul odors and slow-moving drains. If you are experiencing either of these, contact us at tampaplumber.net or 813-PLUMBER. My name is Ryan, and I'm the production manager for TampaBay Plumbers, your one-stop shop for all of your plumbing and septic needs. We pride ourselves on building the reputation as the best plumbing and septic company in the Tampa Bay area. But don't take it from me. Look us up on Google and you will see that we have a 4.8 star rating with over 100 reviews. We also have multiple awards and recognition from multiple online review sites such as Angie's List, Yelp, and Facebook. We do everything plumbing and septic, from residential to commercial, new construction to service. You can find us at tampaplumber.net or call us at 813-PLUMBER. I'm Ryan with TampaBay Plumbers. As a plumbing and septic company with over 100 years of combined experience, we know how frustrating a sewer backup can be. That is why we pride ourselves on being able to identify the cause of a problem before a backup ever happens. One of the tools we use to identify a problem in the sewer system is a video inspection camera. This camera runs through the drain line and is able to identify and locate any problems in the sewer system on a live feed. We then take that information from the live feed and are able to provide a recommendation on how to best fix the problem, oftentimes without the use of any excavation. If you are experiencing any problems with your sewer system, you can find us at tampaplumber.net or call us at 813-PLUMBER.
Hi, I'm Ryan with Tampa Bay Plumbers, and welcome to our website. So what's different about Tampa Bay Plumbers? Everything is different about us. Our company does literally everything that involves plumbing, water, drainage, sewer, septic. We handle it from A to Z, which is completely different than just about every company in town. If you call a plumber, they don't do septic necessarily. Definitely if you call a septic contractor, they don't do plumbing. In addition to doing a very wide scope of services, we do them extremely well. And the reason why is our process and our people. We have spent many years perfecting our craft, and we've also spent many years finding the best people to operate our system. And we have by far the best plumbers in town. I will put my guys up against any companies, anywhere, anytime, any place. And that's just evidence in the type of quality work that we put out. Go online, look at our reviews on Google, look at our reviews on Angie's List. No one else is as highly rated as us unless they're putting bogus reviews up. But our company takes a lot of pride in what we do on a daily basis, and we hope that you give us a chance. Again, I'm Ryan, TampaBay Plumbers. Thanks a lot for visiting our site.
Happy Hour with Frank Coto, Ryan Pelky, and Doug Ford. Now, back to the show.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Listening to the Business Happy Hour. We are on our last segment. Don't cry. We're going to be back next week. We promise you. And hopefully we'll have a Bitcoin expert on there so we can buy it at $15,000 next week. And then we're going to look at each other and say, why? Doug could have bought it at how much? $40?
It's either 10 or 40, one or the other.
Do the math real quick. What if you bought 100? What if you bought 1,000 shares at 40? That would
about $10 million. 12.
We'd be flying in jumps.
Oh well, the Winklevosses. Remember the famous Winklevosses?
Yeah.
When after they settled with Zuckerberg for I think $60 million, they put $10 million into Bitcoin, and now their investment just went over $1 billion.
Oh my God!
The Winklevoss
so they just made
twins
Zuckerberg look like a fool.
Yeah, but Zuckerberg is worth how much?
Oh, like $1 billion? He's not worth more than that, is he?
No. He's worth like 20 or 30 billion.
Oh God,
No.
probably more than that now.
Yeah, I mean Facebook stock is.
I hate the guy, but keep going, Facebook. Keep going.
Yeah, you got that IPO.
Dude, I got the IPO. Everybody made fun of me. Like, you're an idiot.
I won't invest.
I
in
think
Facebook.
you made fun of me.
I won't invest in Facebook.
Yeah.
I just think it's I understand his. He's diversified himself in different other investments.
He's monetized it now.
Yeah, I mean, so he's doing all right. But I mean,
look, I hate the guy.
People are running
from.
from Facebook now for especially millennials that they don't really even go on Facebook anymore.
I can't stand Facebook, but I'll tell you something that I do find incredibly sexy about that company.
What?
Is that they profit $185,000 per employee. Profit.
Wow.
So I think that's a pretty important metric for any company to kind of understand how they're built, how they're structured.
Yep.
Like most companies don't gross $185,000 per employee. So to profit $185,000 per employee is pretty amazing. Very efficient company.
That's amazing. I've never even heard that stat before.
Yeah.
Hold on, Gary's trying to tell me hit a button. This button? Which button? This button?
Right there.
Oh, that one. Sorry. I'm trying to get back on our webpage, and I'm obviously not a millennial. Funniest thing though, in my office, I've got a few millennials, and tell me if this is weird or if it's just in my office, but they seem to know less about computer technology than the older guys in my office.
Really?
All right, I would think that millennials would know more, but have we crossed a line to where they're born into it now and they really don't understand it, that it's just something that's there? Like all of us grew up without computers. We grew up without the internet, without cell phones. And so we were introduced to the technology, which forced us to learn the technology.
I had a rotary dial phone.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, I think we all had one of those.
I love going over to Grandma's house and
I had a black and white TV.
Yeah, I did too when I was younger.
That was my first TV. Was a black and white.
Did you have UHF, VHF?
Yeah,
and you
little rabbit ears.
I was the remote for until I was like 12.
And the remote was wired. Gary still has a wired remote in his house.
No, it was me getting up and changing the channel.
Oh, yeah. That's a whole different remote.
So I have an important Google story. I kind of touched on it earlier in the program, but we've been extremely busy, and as a result, when people call in, sometimes we're not available to go out and do a service call. Which is horrible. We feel bad about it, but it's a result of being pretty good at what you do. You know, if you're booked out, you're obviously in demand. There's a reason for that. We have strict hiring standards, so we can't just produce plumbers like we wish we could, and sometimes we don't have any more capacity. We're out. So a gentleman that has a couple hundred houses, we couldn't take care of it. It was a small little job, but he actually gave us a 1-star review on Google because we were too busy, which I find incredible, because it's one thing if you book the call, you overpromise and you underdeliver, But if you are straightforward with someone and you tell them that you can't do it in a timely fashion, I think that's a respectable thing. I don't see anything wrong with that. But the point of my story is that when you get these types of reviews, many times you can call that customer up and have a conversation with them, and they will remove it. Just because it gets on there doesn't mean it has to stay. You can call them and compel them, after they're not angry anymore about the fact that you couldn't take care of them or whatever the case is. They will remove it. This guy actually did remove it.
Yeah, I feel like reviews are all emotional. So at the time he wrote that review, he was probably feeling pretty, pretty upset about everything.
Reviews have become such a huge buying decision for most people that if you don't really stay on top of that, it can drastically affect your business and your employees.
The stats say that over 75% of online purchases or people found check reviews.
But half the reviews are fake too. That's another problem. There's companies out there literally you can pay.
That's why you got to read them. If you read the reviews, typically you can tell the companies that have legit ones. And I mean, you can read my competitors' reviews. And I can tell that half of them are BS.
Well, to Doug's point, I've had clients that have actually told me that they have done business with me because they found a negative review. And I think that's because they feel like it's more legitimate when you have different
That's kind of what I was telling Ryan. I was like, you almost want to leave a negative review as long as you have a decent rebuttal to it and have you're kosher with what you're saying.
Right.
I think it's not a bad thing. We had a 1-star review because we couldn't understand the lady didn't speak English, and she wrote us a bad review because we couldn't take her information down.
Could you read the review?
Yeah, obviously, but I mean, it's it happens. I mean, and same thing to your point. When we get hurricanes or we get major rainstorms, we'll get 40, 50 leads in a day. Well,
you just can't furnish all.
How
that.
am I supposed to be able to handle 50 leads in a day? I don't have that many people.
Guys, what it sounds like? That I need to close my mortgage company and open a roofing and plumbing company because you guys have a major good problem.
Yeah,
here.
good luck competing against us, homie.
Dang. I know all the trade secrets.
Well, it's crazy. People literally will write reviews, and you haven't even given them any service, and they'll write your review.
Yeah,
so I don't know. I'm kind of that's why I don't really like Angie's List as much because people are just so prone to anything they'll write a review about, and half the time you're like, why did you even write that?
The Angie's List customers will use that too. They put that, they dangle it over your head.
Absolutely.
And,
hey, you better help me or I'm going to get on Angie's List.
Or not even help, but if you don't give me this for free, I'm going to write a bad review. I've been cornered, pigeonholed like that before many times.
Can't you get on Angie's List as the business owner and say, hey, by the way, this guy tried to pigeonhole me?
You can, but I mean, it's hearsay,
It's hearsay. Well, it sounds like a court of law over here.
Angie's List will work with their major advertisers, though. They will. I mean, we've spent an awful lot of money with Angie's List, and I've called my reps up, and if I've had a really off-the-wall customer, they've actually helped get through it.
They should. So I promised to talk about tax reform. We've only got 50 seconds left, so we're going to defer that to next week because maybe we'll have a little more information. It's okay. These are all good stories. So next week we'll talk about tax reform. We're going to try and get our Bitcoin expert on the show if possible. If not, we'll just keep ranting about stuff we know a little bit about to be dangerous. And I hope you're enjoying that. But last but not least, I encourage you guys to check out the stock market. There's a lot of good buys out there right now. There's a lot of stocks that are down, a lot of stocks that have room. We're not planners, so we can't give stock advice. But
see, my advice I always got when everyone's investing, you stay put.
Stay put.
Everyone's dumping, you jump right in.
Right. But I did, and this is just me. I bought GE recently because GE seemed to be at a really low price for where the company has been and will go. And Bitcoin, that's really expensive, so I don't know what to do. I don't know. But I do know you're listening to the Business Happy Hour, and we will be back next week. So thank you for listening, and we will see you next week.